In today's YouTube video, we are talking about how to get found on Kickstarter. So if you're gearing up to the launch of a new Kickstarter campaign or planning one in the future, or even if you're live right now, you're wondering like, how the heck can I get found on this platform? We're gonna be talking about that in today's YouTube video. And that's what I love to cover on this channel, is to demystify crowdfunding for you so you can turn your passion into profit. You can take your ideas and bring them into the world, and you can really breathe life into new creative projects. So I love to do that on this channel and also my podcast, Crowdfunding Demystified, and my blog, crowdcrux.com. So let's dive into this. At the end of this video, you're gonna have a much clearer sense of how to get discovered on Kickstarter, and that way you can crush it and get all the funding you need to get your project out there. So I'm excited to cover this topic because I think it's actually really important and a little bit misunderstood. And even since I got into the industry in 2012, this topic has come up again and again and again as Kickstarter has evolved as a platform. And I think the platform has changed in a positive way in recent years, but it's also going through many different changes in terms of the way in which you can get discovered, going from staff picks to project we love, you name it. So I want to cover this, and I think the first thing is really talking about that Kickstarter algorithm. So any platform out there is designed to have new people discover your work, whether you're a buyer and a seller like on Amazon, or a YouTube viewer, a watcher, and a creator like myself. There's always an algorithm that syncs up two parties or two groups of people. Same thing with Twitter, right? People seeing your tweets, or on Facebook, or on Instagram, or whatever platform it is. And the same is true of on Kickstarter, and that's the Kickstarter ranking algorithm. Now, it goes beyond this video to really go in depth into everything that goes into that algorithm, but what I will say is that one of the things you notice when you go to the page is that when you start to discover and scroll through Kickstarter campaigns, and if you haven't done that, that's a great exercise to do, and even back a couple of projects, you kind of get a familiarity of how the website works. But one of the things you'll notice is there's something called a magic sort feature. Now, this is a prioritized search feature when it comes to the Kickstarter platform. There's popularity, there's most funded, there's a couple of others, and there's also magic sort. And like I said, magic sort is prioritized. Magic sort is a combination of different features when it comes to this Kickstarter platform. The big one though is that it incorporates projects we love. So basically hand curated or hand picked projects that the Kickstarter team likes. This is why a lot of my students and clients work to actually get that projects we love badge or status. So that way you're more likely to rank when it comes to the magic sort feature. So the first way to get discovered is to be trending on Kickstarter, plus to be a project we love on the platform, and you are far more likely than to be discovered when people are searching through the platform. The next one I'm covering in this list is projects for you. So everyone who is a backer on Kickstarter, whether you're a regular backer or a super backer, is going to have specific projects right smack dab in the front page of the home page there. You can see that there's projects that are recommended to you based on the ones that you might enjoy, like, or love. So these are the projects that are recommended based on your previous backing history. Now, this is one of the reasons why selecting the right category is so gosh darn important, because if you select the wrong category, you're gonna have the wrong types of people that are checking out that project, and you might not rank as well. So the next way to be recommended is if you are a recommended project based on the fact that backers who back other projects might like yours. Now, this is one of the reasons, one of the arguments for the fact that you need to have your project be a Kickstarter worthy project, be one that the backers are going to rally around. So there's certain categories, product types, and also even design formats that backers tend to like on the Kickstarter platform. So be aware of that. Do a little bit of your research. Check out what are other projects that people that might be interested in yours likely also were into. You're far more likely than if you begin to be aware of this in your unique category to emulate and take a little bit from those projects of what's good about them and what backers really like, incorporate that into yours, and you're more likely to stand out in that way. The next one I want to highlight is fresh favorites, and that's a great word, fresh favorites. Love that alliteration. So fresh favorites is for anyone who's new, right? And you recently launched a campaign, you're getting funding, you're triggering the algorithm, you're starting to get more people in the door. This is when you tend to be featured in fresh favorites. And this is also why we tend to see that campaigns that have been recently launched tend to get a lot more backer support within the community because they're featured in fresh favorites. So people love to be a part of something new. I don't know if you've ever noticed that when something new comes out, people want to go and check out and find out what is that, right? And the same thing is true when it comes to Kickstarter. So you have what I call a window of opportunity when you are live on the platform for a certain number of days when you can be featured in fresh favorites, and people that are regularly backing the website can actually check it out. So make sure that you're aware of the items you need to do and the box boxes you need to check in order to be trending early on in that Kickstarter process. Another one that I find really interesting is near you. And if you have set your location within Kickstarter, and a lot of backers that regularly support the platform are checking out many different projects, and one of the ones that captures many people's attention is near you. And this is a common question that I get when it comes to my individual one-on-one coaching calls, which I'll talk about at the end of this video. But I have a lot of students that will come and say, I don't know, should I set up my business in a specific location? Or should I set my location for a specific state or for a specific country in the United States versus Europe, right? How is that going to impact the currency, which is displayed on the actual page? How is that going to impact the people that see my projects because it shows up on their homepage because it's near them, right? So this is another way in which you can be discovered, and it can be gamified to a little bit. I don't want to get too much into that, but you need to be mindful of if you are launching with a business, for example, on Kickstarter, where are you going to be incorporating that business? Does it make more sense to do it from a business of a specific territory or country or your home country? You got to be just thinking about that a tiny bit in order to stand out on Kickstarter. The next one, interestingly enough, corresponds to another major period when we see lots of momentum with a new Kickstarter campaign that's been going live. So if you're not familiar, there's something that's called the Kickstarter slump of death, which I won't cover in this video, but one component of that is that towards the end of a campaign, usually you tend to see a higher velocity of the pledges coming in and people backing the campaign. A lot of the times people are like, Sal, why is this happening? And I covered this in my book, The Kickstarter Launch Formula, which is the paint by numbers formula that you can use in order to launch a compelling Kickstarter campaign and get funded. And I covered this. This is a paperback version. You can grab actually a physical book. If you actually read books nowadays, you read a physical book. And also on Audible, if you're listening on the go, you're very busy like myself, you can be walking, going to the gym, hiking, you can be doing your dishes, whatever it is. You can be listening to Sal read passionately this book, The Kickstarter Launch Formula, and be downloading this information into your head so you can go out there and crush it when you're finally ready to go live with the campaign. So I'll include that link down below when it comes to the Kickstarter Launch Formula, but to talk about this specific subject. So when it comes to the end of a campaign, like I said, you tend to see more and more people backing that project. And the reason why has that like marketing term, I don't really like these terms and stuff like that, but one marketing term I'll throw out is this idea of FOMO, or fear of missing out. And from a marketing perspective, what that does is it ratchets up the level of urgency. People feel like they only have a certain amount of time to take action in order to get this deal, to get exclusive perks and rewards. And because of that urgency, all of a sudden they forget everything else that they got to do and they focus on that one thing. And that's what urgency does, is that if you're on a to-do list of someone's to-do list, right, in their mind, they have like 10 or 12 things to do, all of a sudden you are like number one, right, on that list. So it commands attention, it gets them to take action very quickly and make a quick decision in order to back you or to not back you, which are those people that are on the fence, then make that purchase, backing, supporting, becoming a patron of your project choice. And that's why you see that uptick. But also, this is where you are displayed on Kickstarter. People will see that you are in the home stretch section, and people love to look at the last minute deals, right, which they can grab a copy of, get a product, pre-order, right? They love to check out what are like the big campaigns this month that are in the home stretch that have done really well, tends to command social proof, attention, and intrigue. Want to take all the stress out of fulfilling your Kickstarter rewards? Fulfillrite is the turnkey solution that puts product delivery on autopilot. The Top Campaigns uses trusted high-tech provider to store, package, and ship their products. Focus on growing your business. Leave shipping to the experts. Don't wait. Get a custom quote from Fulfillrite today. Link in the description. And oh my gosh, we didn't leave out the featured project option. So a lot of the ones that we are covering are ways in which someone who is browsing the website Kickstarter.com can come across your project and can find you. And a big one is being a featured project. Now, this is a very common question that I get when it comes to students, and they're like, Sal, how do we actually become a featured project? Well, the thing when it comes to that is that there is a human element at play. So you can't have like an exact step-by-step necessarily in order to guarantee become a featured project, but there are things that you can do behind the scenes in order to make that happen. One of the things is to be aware of the ethos of the Kickstarter platform. What are the types of projects they like to highlight? What are the values that they're trying to push as a platform, as a public benefit corporation, for their creators, the style, the story, right? The ecological or eco-friendly commitments which they might have as well, or environmental commitments. You want to take a look a little bit at that. But in addition, I've had students who will actually reach out to the team at Kickstarter, get their attention, and as a result, get funded. So this is something where you can, with persistence, become a featured project and get a heck of a lot of attention, even appear in the Kickstarter newsletter. But it's one of those things that's a little bit hush-hush, kind of happening behind the scenes, and there isn't just a public way, right, that you can easily do that. There are decisions that are happening behind the scenes. One of the areas that I specialize in that not many people know about is that I absolutely fall in love with UI and UX. So one of the great exercises at this point in time, if you haven't yet, is to start an account on Kickstarter. Go through the UI and the UX of the website. Get a feel for how it works, where your attention is being tied to, where it is that's commanding your eyeball, right, when it comes to being on a laptop, and also do this on your mobile phone. So you understand what the checkout experience is going to be like for your backers and the ways in which their attention is drawn to new projects, to ending soon projects, right? And that's really how you're going to be discovered on the Kickstarter platform. There are many other ways as well when it comes to marketing, promotion, and social media, which I have covered on other videos on YouTube. And if you'd like to have more of a step-by-step guidance, hand-holding approach, to really have someone who's a mentor and to, share the trials and the tribulations that are happening behind the scenes, the techniques, the tools, and the strategies that go into a compelling launch, to introduce you to other people in the industry, and to lay out a blueprint which you can follow specifically for your unique case and category in order to get funded, you gotta check out my intensive coaching call option, which you can check out at the link down below at crowdcrux.com/coaching. That link will take you to a form where you can fill out a little bit of information, tell me more about you, what you're trying to do when it comes to your project, what is your resources, in terms of being successful, what funding amount are you going for, and we can get that call scheduled. All you gotta do is go to the link down below at crowdcrux.com/coaching, and you can book an individual coaching call with me. I think this is great if you're in the early stages, you're in the middle stages, or even getting ready to launch soon. I've had students who have launched already and they're trying to do a relaunch, or they want to retool exactly what's going well with their project and to really double down on that, or to have an even completely different directional shift. I can really have the maximum amount of impact the earlier that you book in the process. So that way, if you're going out there, you're doing this right. You're setting a strong foundation. So go down below and check out my individual one-on-one coaching call option. Regardless, I really do hope that you enjoyed today's YouTube video, and you also check out some of the other content on my channel that goes more in depth into the marketing strategy behind a compelling Kickstarter campaign launch, social media, social bookmarking websites, building communities, you name it. How do you build a tribe from scratch? I got tons of great videos out there. And if you're a little bit lazy like myself and you don't want to have to go dig through a lot of content, I do have a step-by-step free course out there at crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter, or you can just hit the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video as well, give me a thumbs up while you're at it so other people know this is worth their time. My name is Salvador Briggman, and if you do nothing else, take some action this week. Move towards your goals with tenacity. Be willing to push through those obstacles and milestones, and be willing to double down. Don't let anyone tell you that this goal or this obsession which you have is not worth your time, because you are ethically impacting the world for the positive if you have a great product and you've been pouring your heart and soul into that. Thank you so much. My name is Sal, and I'll see you next time.